That's funny.
Hey, there you go.
Home run. First pitch.
Bing, bing.
First pass is a touchdown.
Speaking of which, are there any hand egg news from this? Where people run around with an egg-shaped ball?
Say any what kind of news?
Hand egg.
Canned egg.
Football.
Oh, football. Well, big time. Lions won the first playoff at home in 32 years. And the story is so interesting in that a couple of years ago, Matthew... Don't start.
Continue.
Don't start yawning before the intro's over.
Okay.
And our quarterback for almost 12 years was Matthew Stafford, who we loved, number 9. We loved him. He had great receivers. We never had great coaches.
9 was the number on his back.
Here and there, blah, blah, blah. Number 9. And in a stunning trade, they traded the Los Angeles Rams for their quarterback, whose name is Jared Goff, Geoff. So Jared Goff is surprised as shit. He kind of hears about it in the news. He's pissed off at the owners. He took them all the way to a Super Bowl, and they lost, and then after that they got rid of him.
Wow.
So not only did we get Jared Goff in Detroit and they got Matthew Stafford, there was a total of 8 positions that we had to trade that they had to give us in order for them to get Matthew Stafford. He was so valuable.
Wow.
And in fact, as an immediate level of importance, they were right. Matthew Stafford, new quarterback, Los Angeles Rams, took them to the Super Bowl and they won it.
Boom.
Good job. Nice job. In the meantime, the Lions, third-year coach Dan Campbell, former player, his mantra is grit. T-shirts, grit. Detroit, grit. Just it's grit. Grind it out.
Yeah.
At his opening press conference, he said something. He said, this is going to be a kind of a football team that's going to bite you at the knees until you're down on the ground. And it got all this controversial, blah, blah, blah. That's not allowed. And he's just a big dude. So imagine this. Here we are 2 years later, a year after those suckers won the Super Bowl.
I'm excited now.
Nobody expected them to do real well this year. They had lost a lot of players. But damn, Los Angeles Rams, out of the last, they did terrible first 6 games, maybe in the first 9 games. Then after that, they won every game. Again and again and again and again.
Oh my God.
People are saying they're peaking early. And he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Stafford.
And the Lions, in the meantime, we do something that's hadn't been done 32 years. We got to a playoff game. We never even got to them.
Wow.
We'd never been to one. Matthew Stafford took us to one. It was an away game, which is always hard, in New Orleans, which is always hard.
It's muggy down there.
And we never scored a point, if I recall correctly. They smeared us. It was awful. That was it.
God.
So here's Dan Campbell. They ended up winning game after game.
Wait, who's Dan Campbell?
Game after game. He's the coach of the Lions.
Okay.
And they're winning game after game. And Jared Goff, he's throwing bullets. He's running the ball. Oh, my God. Suddenly, the Lions are in the first place in one of 4 divisions. In our division, we win the division for the first time in 32 years. Having won the division for the first time in 32 years, we also went to a playoff game. Who do we play? The Los Angeles Rams. Who is it? Quarterback to quarterback? Stafford on the Rams.
Yes.
Goff for the Lions. The first time in NFL history that 2 opposing quarterbacks had been traded to each other's team in the history of the NFL.
What the Goff?
It was a shootout. Stafford was a slinger. Goff was a bullet, running the ball. Oh, my God, stopping the run, doing the run. Lions get the ball first. They say, we'll give the ball to the Lions first. Big mistake. Lions grab the ball, set the tone for the game, march 65 yards up the freaking field, score a freaking run-in touchdown, score 7-0.
Holy
bam,
shit.
Bam, bam, bam. Get to this, get to that, get to this. We get to the last several seconds. We're up by 1 point. The clock is at 3:01 something, and we have to at least have the ball for 2 runs.
Yeah.
Two first downs, 2 passes, 2 complete passes. If we did, we could take up the clock, and then for the first time in 30 years, form the victory formation. Knee. The clock runs out and we win victors. But first, what has to happen? Jared Goff. Stafford's been slinging it. It's up to Goff. We got less than like a minute, and the clock is running down. 3rd down. How's he going to do it? Passes the ball. Bam. Get it. Do it again. Bam. Clock is running out. Bam. Does it again. Ends up. The clock goes boom. Victory formation. Lions win the first time in 32 years at home. Guess what happens next? They get to play at home again against a team they beat earlier this year, the Tampa Buccaneers, who summarily dispatched their opponent, who we didn't particularly want to play, but here we are, Lions versus the Bucs this Sunday.
Oh my God!
And there's a story about the Packers that's worth telling, and then my team, the Bills. Oh my God, so much to go. But the Lions, biggest story of the freaking
century.
It's been so they have never in over 58 years gotten to a second playoff. They got past the second playoff. They've never won the first one, so they never had a second one.
Wow.
Right? Let alone win it. When they win it, there's only 2 more games, and the second one is the Super Bowl. It gets to the semifinals with the Lions playing probably the San Francisco 49ers, while over here the Baltimore Ravens are playing, I think, the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Man. Bills, Lions, Super Bowl.
Bills, Lions, Super Bowl.
Neither team ever been to the Super Bowl before. Neither team's won a Super Bowl. The Bills went to, as you may recall, 4 Super Bowls in a row every year for 4 years. Never before, never will happen again. 4 years straight went to the Super Bowl. 4 years straight lost.
So who do you root for? Bills, Lions.
Oh, it's tough. It's real tough.
Your roots or your current home?
I don't think that I can root for either team. I have to root for both. I have to be happy with what everybody accomplishes. I have to be sad at whatever mistakes each team makes, because I love these teams equally. And I wouldn't diss either one by picking one over the other.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is the most exciting NFL season of my life.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And the Packers. Let me tell you the Packers.
Please.
Well, first the Bills. The Bills.
Wait,
listen.
Okay, let's.
The Bills have a terrible season.
Get in line.
They're 3-6.
Oh my God.
They were contenders for Super Bowl last year. Went to Kansas City, played at Kansas City, and lost. So lost the opportunity. They lost. They were winning with 17 seconds left to go. And Kansas City, and our defense failed, and Kansas City scored. Not a kick, not a three-pointer, a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's the history. They start this season. Supposed to be the year. They didn't get it last year. They're going to get it this year. Josh Allen, Superman.
Yeah.
6'5", 240 pounds. A behemoth. Takes 3 people to tackle the son of a bitch. And he runs all the time. He has more rushing yards than any other quarterback in the NFL. He's thrown more touchdowns this year than any quarterback in the NFL. He threw more interceptions this year than any any quarterback in the NFL. And he had more fumbles than any other quarterback. He did all that in 1 year. So if you get the idea, he's active. He's Superman. Yeah.
He
Right.
does shit, and sometimes it works out.
They lose a game to, I think, the Patriots, maybe, or Miami probably, that they were supposed to have won. And suddenly, they had less than a 5% chance of making the playoffs. They literally had to win every game of the next 6 games to be able to qualify for the postseason. They won every one of the 6 games, marching up the field, running over people, flip one runner. I'll tell you which one in a minute, from Buffalo. He goes he's going to get tackled right at the goal line. He does a somersault flip.
I may have seen this clip.
Over the top of the guy, lands, touchdown.
Yeah.
It's best NFL season of my life. I'm so happy I could weep.
Well, I'm pleased for you. They got to play with the Goff name, like T-shirts that say "Oh my Goff" or "Do you believe in Goff?" Playing on God.
Goff Almighty.
Yeah,
Goff Almighty.
Goff Almighty. Yeah, you got it. That sort of thing.
I believe in Goff Almighty. Yes.
Yes.
Capital G.
Yeah. O.M. Goff. Yeah. Cool. I'm glad that...
I am the Lord your Goff. You shall attend the playoff games. Did you see the competing ads that came out?
Playoff rhymes with Goff, right?
What's that?
Playoff rhymes with Goff. We got to work with that. I am your Goff.
What's your name? I said. He said, my name is Goff. I said, what you do? He said, I'm going to playoff. I said, that's good. And on. We just figured it out.
Yeah.
Rhyme after rhyme after rhyme after rhyme.
Not a lot of other words rhyme with off, I don't think.
Let's see. Boss.
Well, yeah, that's...
Goff. Boss. Goff. That could work.
Yeah. Well, we'll need to workshop.
Cough, yes. He grabbed my balls and made him cough. I said, what's your name? He said, my name is Jared Goff. I said, what you do? He said, my name is a play off.
What does Tiger play? Goff.
It said, don't piss me off. Or don't jack me off. My name is Jared Goff. Huh?
Yes. I wasn't going for jack me off, but well done.
You got to do it to me. You got to give it to me, baby. My name is Jared Goff. Bum, 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 bum. I'm gonna get you off. Bum, 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 bum. I'm gonna make you cough. Bum, 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 bum. You will sure get off. Bum, 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 bum. Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. All right.
Play off.
Good.
A little musical interlude.
We will license that to the nearest vendor. I'll talk to the ESPN and NFL people.
So
contacts.
This and that, back and forth, answer response, political ads about Trump. Trump puts out an ad that basically the message is God made Donald Trump for us. God made Donald Trump for us. Lincoln Project puts out a one that's called God Makes Dictators. And it's this, you gotta see it. It's this bizarre, like Ronald Reagan World War II atomic bomb stuff.
The Lincoln Project does some creative shit.
Ad.
Yeah.
And it's...
I'll find the link for the show notes.
God decided we need a man to be blah, 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 blah. And so he created one. And they're showing scenes of Germany and Hitler. And so God created a dictator. God thought the world needed bomb. And so God created a dictator. That's Mussolini. It just goes on. And then it goes to Trump. And apparently, I think the reason that I'm so blown away is because I didn't see what Trump did. So I'm not sure what they're responding to, but what they're responding to is probably more outrageous than what they did. So my awe at their outrageousness would be tempered by Trump's, which is probably enough to drive me crazy and scream and run around the room and, what do you call it? Render my clothing.
Trump makes you want to get naked. That's what I'm hearing.
So the Iowa caucus happens. You've probably heard about this. Trump won 51%. Ron DeSantis, 51. As he calls Ron Sanctimonious, came in second at 21%. And then Nikki Birdbrain Haley, as she's called, came in at 19%. As she's called by him. Yes.
Birdbrain is the best he could come up with?
And Trump is crowing because the largest ever margin between first place and second place in the Iowa caucuses, first ever, was 12.5%. Trump won by over 30. And so he broke that record. And one might say though, but wait a minute. True? Let's look at former presidents who ran, because frankly, we think if a former president, basically an incumbent, can only get 51% of the Republican vote, you got a problem. That means almost half the people want somebody else. That is the spin, bro.
So last night, against my better judgment, I watched this thing. It's on HBO. It's this 45-minute show called something I can't remember, where they were it was some experts, some body language experts evaluating Trump. And
I saw it, but I didn't read it.
And it
was about Haley and DeSantis, or
no,
Trump?
No. This is it's like a year old, and. This was a thing on HBO.
Yeah.
And they evaluated so many of his lies, and it was like a best hits of Trump's lies. And one of the first ones, upon being president, was that he won by a greater margin of electoral votes since anyone since Reagan. And a reporter stands up in the audience and was like, well, actually Obama did a lot better, and George W. Bush also did better, and just watching him squirm there about his being caught in a lie, and just being like, look, these are just numbers that I was given. Someone gave me these numbers.
That's what they tell me. Tell me.
And
it's what they tell me.
So
what they're saying is.
But like when you tell me that he won by a bigger margin than anyone else, and if it's coming from him,
No, this is just statistics.
Well, so when just you go statistics, it depends on your source. Like
absolutely, I understand, but it is just it's math. It's math, not statistics. It's math.
Well, no, but
there's no analysis. It's just math.
Okay, but it's fact checked.
It's not an argument. But here's the thing.
Wait. So, do they not do the Iowa caucus for when a sitting president, when an incumbent runs again? Like when George W. Bush ran.
If he has competition, but they don't.
But if they don't have competition,
incumbents don't.
So as Biden doesn't really have competition.
Well, actually, Biden does have competition. Republicans don't.
Oh, okay.
They haven't.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a dude from Connecticut who I like, who's a former congressman, rich dude. He's running against Biden. He loves Biden.
Rich dude. His name is Rich Dude.
Yeah. Hey, Rich, how you doing? Man, call me dude. And at any rate, he says, I love Biden. It's just his time's up. We need some fresh blood. We need it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, don't you think that you're pulling votes away from Biden, that you're going to help elect Trump? And he said, that's not my problem. And like my response would be, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So it depends what you're committed to. But, in this case, he would drop out if, there's no path. Christie dropped out of the Republican race, which was sad. He was the only one who was standing up to Trump 100% of the time. There are tapes of Chris Christie talking at town hall meetings and interviews and all sorts of over the place, just telling it exactly like it is about Trump. Everything you and I know to be true, but his spin on it, I've known him for over 30 years. I tried to help him. I made a mistake. I thought he could be helped. He can't be helped. He's a seriously narcissistic. He has no characteristics that qualify him for being the president of the United States. And he said when his speech to leave the race, to suspend his race, he said there's no path to the nomination after it was clear that the polling was showing he was losing in Iowa. He was losing, just single digits compared to the others. At least they were getting double digits against Trump, who's 30, 40 points ahead. But this is what he said. He said, let me tell you, if Donald Trump wins this nomination, I'm going to tell you the exact moment it happened. It happened this past August when all of us were on that stage in the debate. And when the moderator asked how many of you would vote for Donald Trump if he was convicted of a felony, and all of you raised your hands, that is the day that Donald Trump won the nomination. You've never run against him. You're running against yourselves, and none of you have a chance.
Who's been saying that all along?
His speech is great.
Yeah, there were two big moments that I had watching this documentary. One was a thing that I already sort of knew, but it was from this psychologist profiler lady, and she described Trump's the emotional hole inside him, this bucket that he's trying to fill with admiration all the time that his father left for him. It's amazing that you could get to more or less the top of the world, the president of the United States, and still want to lie about how many people were at your inauguration and shit like that.
Yeah, it's not enough.
It's a bucket that you can't possibly ever fill, and it's so. If he weren't so damaging, it would be sort of tragic, right? And the other thing was Bolton, not Michael Bolton, but one of the guys that was
Ambassador Bolton. John
Bolton. He said that he had worked for 5 presidents, and he has watched the weight of the office of the presidency just destroy these men by just the weight and the importance of what that role is.
Destroy them, or
just
age them.
Age them, and just you can tell there's a weight on their shoulders.
Yes.
But not true for Donald Trump. He never felt that weight at all. He never thought of the office as being anything
just
other
business
than,
as usual.
Anything other than just me. And that kind of blew my mind. I hadn't really considered that he just has no respect for that office as an important thing, other than a way to get on television more.
Well, did you read the recent news that in the first 2 years of Donald Trump's presidency, looking at only a dozen or so of his over 500 LTDs and businesses and whatever, he only looked at a few. They found that foreign countries paid him $7 to $8 million, and now he's being demanded to pay it back. There will be a lawsuit against constitutionally aggravating the emolument clause of the U.S. Constitution, which says you can never make money. And there's examples of how one president received the tusks, Abraham Lincoln received from a foreign land ivory elephant tusks that were mounted, and he loved them, and they made him give it away. They had an inquiry as to whether or not Obama had to give back the Pulitzer Prize. It certainly didn't hit because he wasn't making money.
Nobel Prize.
The money he got, he had to turn over, which I think is $1 million. I can't remember.
The Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes. But also the prize itself, and they let him keep it.
That was a ridiculous.
So anyway,
that was a ridiculous.
So here's Trump
prize, but whatever.
It's a question. I mean, you read the law. The purpose of all the analysis. You read the law and you say, what does it mean? We want to follow the Constitution. So there's people, the courts, that interpret it. What does it mean? There's lawyers that assist with their process. Trump was in court today for a second defamation suit against the woman that the civil court found that he had sexually abused and then lied about it. And as a result of that finding of guilt and responsibility, the next phase of the court process was to determine damages. They had that, and they're making Trump pay this writer, Carol, millions of dollars for damages and, et cetera, et cetera. And when Trump left the courtroom after the hearing where he was, given these damages, he went out in front of the courtroom and he defamed her again. She sued him immediately, and now the second hearing is in place, and they're determining the degree of the guilt and the degree of penalty. And he's on tape. Before he went into the courtroom today, just before he went into the courtroom today, he posted 40 social media posts about Jean Carroll. Some of them, the exact ones that he sent, that helped with the defamation guilty verdict.
There's no sense of...
This is a man...
Yeah.
It's stupid, though. Because it isn't stupid. No, it's not. It's more serious than stupid. It's fucking nuts. He is crazy. Just like your people are saying, this vacuum, this hole.
We've known this. Like, again, it's like we keep rediscovering that
further,
he's a doofus.
further, deeper, worse. 63% of the Republicans in Iowa said it doesn't bother them if he's convicted of a felony. They will still support 63%. That's the way that they're publicizing it, but here's the rest of the story. 31%, a full third of Republicans are saying if he's convicted of a felony, I ain't going there. And this is an election that's 10 months away. And so you can look at the glass half empty or half full. If he's got problems in Iowa, which is the whitest, most evangelical, most right-leaning, MAGA-infused state in the country, if they're 1/3 of the people have problems, imagine what it's going to be like in New Hampshire. Big question is, how much will South Carolina care, which is even, dare I say it, even more evangelical? Do you know what percentage of evangelical people represent as evangelical in the United States of America? 14%.
I was going to say around 15, yeah.
And in these places, it's 35, it's 40, it's 50, it's high. And they're the places that somehow we think, because they're deciding
Did I not
this
just
or
scream
that,
about this last week? How stupid this fucking system is.
But listen to this fact. Only 3 times in the history of the Iowa caucuses, 3 times, perhaps, I should say, in recent history, the past 20, 30 years, that the person who wins the Iowa caucus actually becomes the nominee. One way to predict, then, statistically, who the nominee won't be is who wins the Iowa caucus, taking into account, however, as folks are here, the margin of victory, and in this case, overwhelming. But add to that the reason, which is, well, it's not atypical because he is, for all practical purposes, an incumbent.
Right.
51% ain't great for an incumbent. I rest my case.
Just saying, I called it.
Your witness.
I called it.
Your witness.
Yeah, let's change the subject because this is fucking boring.
More football.
Oh, Jesus.
Just joking. Just joking.
Don't.
But actually, you'll like this because this dude is younger than you. He's in his 20s. And his name is Andrew Love. And he is new quarterback for Green Bay Packers. Hired on first 6 games, missed passes, couldn't quite get it together. And then he became one of the most effective quarterbacks in the NFL, and not only won almost every game since a bad opening. The other day, he went against the hated, Dallas Cowboys, who haven't been to the Super Bowl, the second longest drought in the history of the sport, only beat, of course, by the Lions. The great Dallas Cowboys, they have not lost a game at home in their home field since last year. They've got the longest running home game victory of any team in the NFL.
That was just a couple of weeks ago.
It still is. Guess Green Bay, young quarterback, hot hand. They go to Denver, or not Denver, but to Dallas to play this game. And the opening drive, they score a touchdown. The next drive, they intercept. They score a touchdown on the interception. They get an interception the very next down. The score is 27-0, and it's the first quarter. The Dallas Cowboys look stunned and confused, didn't know what to do. The coach's eyes were rolling around in his head. They ended up getting creamed, and the famous or infamous owner, Jerry Jones, is shown in his penthouse, 81-year-old owner up in the high place, and they score another touchdown. It's like 27-0, and he throws his paper, hits his chair with the paper, and turns around, and there's all these memes that with what he was saying. One of them was what the fuck just happened? Another one was, who's responsible for this? Another one was, quick, get Bill Belichick on the phone, who's the coach of the Patriots, who's getting fired. And one of the winningest coaches in NFL history, because he had Tom Brady. That's why he was winning. Otherwise, he's a lying, cheat motherfucker. But he's going to take a new job. Could it be the Cowboys? What about Harbaugh? Michigan wins a national championship. Oh, my God. Are you fucking kidding me? Let me tell you. They open up the game. It's Michigan's ball. First pass, intercepted. Oh, my God, no. Oh, thank God. He stepped out of bounds before he caught the pass. Okay, Michigan, boom, 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 boom. What happens when, who are they playing? Alabama, Coach Nick Saban. Oh, my God, Alabama, winners coach, most championships, anybody. Wait, what happens? They get the ball. Fucking Michigan breaks through the line, fucking sacks them. Boom. Now it's 1 in 20. Second play, fucking break the line again, sack them a second time in a row. Now it's like 1 in 28, 29, and they're 3 and out. the game went this Michigan run and Michigan win. And I was a Michigan fan. I have been, when Michigan State's out of it, I want the Big Ten team to win. And oh God, it was exciting. It was one of the most awesome fucking exhibits of fucking just defensive fucking strength. Amazing. Here's to the maize and blue. Go blue.
Wow. Cool.
Well, I toasted you, man. What are you doing sitting there?
Cool.
Where's your drink?
Cool.
Where's your toast?
Cool.
There you go. What are you drinking in that little rainbow glass?
My beer.
Your beer.
So,
your Mao.
Did you do your homework?
Yes.
Did you? So have I.
So, you first.
I love the idea of, I think there's only like 6 episodes. Like it's going to be tight.
There are only 6 episodes to the 4th season of True Detective,
yes,
starring Jodie Foster.
Thank you for the intro. Yes.
Episode 1 premiered just 2 days ago. And so you love the concept.
I love the idea of shooting it all at night. Like having it start where the opening scene is with the sun going down and it basically telling you, look, the sun has gone down for 3 months in this northern Alaskan locale, and that the whole thing takes place at night, which is super, not to be obvious, but dark. It's
you are insightful. I'll tell you, that should be in our vision statement somewhere.
And I listened to the official podcast about this, where they talked to the writer and also some of the people that worked on it, and the set person said that they really wanted to make it clear that, and I felt this viscerally in the episode, that that the darkness is just right outside the door. Like there were several times where a door opened and it was just like super freezing cold and black outside, and there was sort of light inside, and the person was maybe even wearing wearing short sleeves, and then the person came in or whatever. But the fact that the door felt so thin, like I noticed that when I watched it, and then I heard that was like intentional.
In fact, I think you pointed out the strength of the first episode, which is its cinematic story. It's cinematic story. There's perspectives to think about in terms of the acting, but this in terms of more than just the storyline, how that storyline is depicted, cinematography, and with that darkness as the background. The other thing that was striking was the jarring and wonderful CGI stuff, which was as convincing as anything I've seen. And I love
what CGI stuff.
The reindeer,
the caribou at the beginning. One. Yeah,
caribou, I should say. Reindeer.
I think it's the same.
What?
It's the same species. We call them caribou or reindeer, as you wish.
And so it was riveting cinematography. Telegraphic.
You can do it. You can do it, Dennis.
Cinematographic.
It's not football, but it's
cinematically.
Yes.
Cinematically. It was cinematically sealed.
Yes.
It'll never get out. It's like a fucking mummy.
No.
Wait. What?
No, that particular thing was really beautiful, and probably took someone like 6 months to render. But yeah.
So I thought that I agree with you that the riveting beauty of the cinematography and the stark nature of the light and the dark, how they literally were fighting each other on the screen, and the dark winning, sucking things in and creating a fear of darkness, which absolutely was isolation and cold.
Yes.
So it wasn't just dark, it was what the dark meant, and that in a menacing way, so that the agitation, anxiety, almost early signs of fear that you felt as a viewer were all about that. Oh my God, how dark and cold and lonely and isolated would you be if you wandered away? They wanted you to feel that way. So by the time you saw the people who had apparently frozen in some wash of water that froze them in place, that your worst fears of the dark and the cold were proven true. Brilliant. Here's the thing. When I look at the acting, one of the things that happens in that first episode, the most difficult episode, is the introduction of characters.
Yes.
And if one of those characters is somebody like Jodie Foster, who you know in a million roles, you know as a 12-year-old that won an Academy Award, that as an actress in Taxi Driver had so many movies under her belt that both Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro were nervous around her.
Nice.
She comes out and she is going to introduce this character. It's difficult for her. I had a moment where I felt like she was acting. It didn't last long, but it was just a minute. And the characterization, she a little bit of a little bit caricaturish, right? You know, rough and tumble, rough cop, thinks the Indian stuff is all bullshit, rough and tumble, you know, yeah. Okay, that's credible. I can get that. I got to get used to her being that. You know, I think maybe the last one I saw of her was when, the hell was it called? When she was isolated in her safe room. I think that was the name of it.
Safe room, yeah.
Go figure.
That's been like 30 years,
so,
but yeah.
You know, but then the actor who played her deputy, who I know from, the Western series.
Deadwood.
Was so good in Deadwood.
Hey,
yes,
the movie, but nice.
But the series. He a little cartoonish, a little, I don't know what, a little eccentric, and so you've got to be able to wrap your head around these people and their eccentricities. And the challenge that they have is not to act that way in anything other than a subtle way. Because if it hits you too hard, it's going to strain your credibility. I had that a little bit. Not that it worried me, but I was a little surprised that it seemed, I don't know, it seemed a little corny in a couple of places. I expect that to change. I'd give it a 5 out of 6. So I'm not being disparaging here, right? I mean it. Am I going to watch it again? There's no way I won't. I'm already
Who
committed,
are you talking
dedicated.
about? Her deputy.
The skinny dude.
John Hawkes.
Who was in Deadwood.
Known for... Okay.
And in the story, surprisingly, his son works for her too.
Oh, the older guy. Yeah. Okay.
Skinny dude.
Yeah. I believe that. The John Albacini is my guess. King's Speech. No, anyway, the
Sabatini,
yeah. No, Albacini.
Albertini.
Albacini is the character, I think. Anyway, no, that's the actor. Anton is the character. Whatever. I liked the creator of this season talked about wanting to, like, loving sort of true crime sort of stuff, but also wanting to promote strong female leads, and how this series is going to be about those two strong females investigating the murder of the men.
Strong character, strong acting,
and
excellent.
And the native deputy that's sort of
yes. Well, she's not a deputy.
She is
a deputy. She's in a different force.
Yeah,
one is state police and one is local.
But she was demoted to troopers from whatever Jody is.
Well, she wasn't demoted. Jody's character, whatever her name is, encouraged her to apply for the trooper's job, and she took it.
Danvers.
And then now that she's over there, she cut her off. And there's some bad blood about that, but it was a lateral. She was a deputy for Foster's character. Then she went over to work for the local police.
Okay.
There was a little scene about all that.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be important because they're not. Then by the end of the first episode, they were sharing information.
Right. You know, they both are interested in solving this. The
coat. The coat.
Yeah.
Which your deputy was wearing. The victim wore it, and the deputy had it on in the picture she gave. I wish I had.
No, I thought it was the murder victim had it on.
Yes, and then the picture she gave the cop was a picture of her deputy wearing that coat.
I was the deputy, not the murder victim.
It was both. She found the murder victim wearing a brown coat with a tear in the sleeve, and then she found a picture in her pile of shit she had. Right? Came across the picture of her deputy wearing that coat.
I thought it was the murder victim.
That's you keep saying that. There's two pictures, bro.
Yeah.
There's one of the murder victim wearing the coat.
Oh, no, you mean the murder victim? You mean the murder, the man.
The female murder victim was wearing a brown coat with a tear.
But the deputy wasn't ever.
Listen.
Yes.
She found a second picture.
Okay.
The second picture showed the deputy wearing that coat. That second picture is what she gave the cop.
Okay. That's not as I recall it, but I will give you that.
Well, it's the kind of thing that was central to the conclusion. You fell asleep again. You did. No, you were drunk.
I watched it twice.
You were drunk. You were drunk both times. That doesn't cut any shit with me. No. Well, why should twice?
Speaking of drunk, what do you think about Danvers' family situation? Like,
whose?
The Jodie Foster.
Oh, what's her name?
Danvers.
Danvert?
No, Vers. Danvers.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So
she's raising this girl,
but the fact that the girl brought up drunk driving makes me think that they are related via some accident somehow. And she's like, you don't have to be my mom, etc.
Didn't Jodie Foster lose a child?
She definitely had a child before. And I wonder if my theory is that her daughter and husband died in the same crash that killed the family of the girl that she's raising.
Oh, good theory, man.
And I think that she just felt both so alone and also so just watching the other, knowing that there was this other girl out there that was alone, that I think she adopted her. And
right.
And so that's why when
that would make sense.
What an amazing cut from brushing teeth to brushing teeth that they did.
Yeah.
But then
so,
when Jodie was brushing her teeth and the adopted daughter came up and was like, let's talk about what happened tonight, and she was like, oh, you mean that sex video? And she was like, no, about people driving drunk, and it got totally shut down immediately.
Yeah, she went to bed.
So,
well, I want to watch it. I want to watch it again. I was going to try to do it today. I got pretty busy, but
well, there you go.
I give it a 5 out of 6.
Since when are we giving 6?
The other challenge I have is
6 the maximum star rating.
Because that's what I said.
5 out of 6.
You want me to say it differently? You want me to give you another one? I give it a 4 out of 5. Does that make a big difference to you?
That's
but on the other hand, I give it an 8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10. Not a 9 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
5 out of 6. Give it a 10 out of 12.
I got a 10 out of 10 NFL weekend behind me. Okay. And another one coming up, 10 out of 10. So,
boy, you're totally.
You don't get a 10. You don't get a 10 easy for me, or in this case, a 6.
A 6 out of 6.
It just made sense to me.
This is fractions are
4
hard,
out of
man.
6. So did you catch up with any of the mayor of
yes,
Kingstown? You did?
No, I have not. I've been watching Fargo.
I binged the second season. I went to Fargo. They will only give me the 5th season. I watched the beginning of the first episode. Then I'd been watching football, so I was trying to watch to sleep, but I loved it. And just as you said, I didn't have to know anything other than what I was looking at to understand where it wasn't a storyline.
Yes,
that had a past.
So it turns out I was mistaken. What I've been watching is season 4, which I hadn't seen. I'd seen 1, 2, and 3, and so it gave me season 4. But season 5 is obviously out. So I'm still.
That's all I'm
still working my way through season 4. I was amused last night. I got home late, but I had a lot of energy and I couldn't go to bed, so I watched some TV. And my HBO gives me Last Week with John Oliver, starting from season 3. He's now up to like season 20 something.
Really?
Not even. Well, I don't know, but the season when I started, it was February 2016. No. Yeah. It was the lead up to Trump winning. And it was back then when Trump was just this funny joke, like, haha, this goofball. Look at all the funny things he's saying. And I remember that time so well. And there were clips of Nikki Haley saying stuff. And it was just kind of creepy and cathartic both to go back.
Cathartic.
To that.
I doubt it's cathartic. I think
it's sort of the opposite of cathartic.
Pent up and constipated.
But it was
because this explosion is going to happen.
Yeah, it was.
And you know that
it was the opposite
of. You following the story about Trump wearing diapers, right? You know about this?
I think I saw something about this.
Taking so much Adderall when he was filming the fucking Apprentice.
Yeah.
That he couldn't control his bowels. There was somebody in charge of making sure that he was ready to get cleaned up and was ready with fresh clothes.
Wow. Yeah. So it was like a time travel back to that time where John Eller was super young, and but still just as funny with the same exact notes and he had some gag about New Zealand or whatever he was making fun of, but it was just weird to go back in time to that time of innocence where, you know, the president was Barack and things felt like different and okay and hopeful. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh God, we were just talking today about the difference between that level of leadership serenity, which had its ups and downs. And I mean, one of the things that Obama did that was just incredibly damaging and very, very, very difficult for us, because we talked about it, was when he wore a brown suit to the press conference.
The tan suit, yes.
I expect more from my president.
Exactly. Yeah,
now,
those days.
Imagine the difference then of one normal to another normal, where this constant bombardment of lies and controversy only getting bigger and bigger. You and I both know that he's setting up the civil war that he wants to lead after he loses the next election. He's
going to win this one.
Millions of people who will follow him. Many of them have guns, and that's where we're headed.
No.
If he would win, which I don't believe he will, you believe he will. That's one set of things. But if he loses,
no, that's
all gloves are off.
That's the
Camp Davidians, man.
That's the Republican fantasy of the Second Amendment. The idea that we Joe Blows with our AR-15s can defeat the strongest military force in the entire world. It's like, nah, like, great, you go ahead and think that, but and to be clear, the strongest military force in the entire world has had trouble in places where there's guerrilla warfare and you're in someone else's territory and they know it better than you. But I don't think that's the case here. Like, it would be such a quick. You can't fight a civil war against the federal government if the federal government has all of the U.S. military behind it.
Yes, there'll be a few skirmishes and it'll be put down. Like all,
you can't take your AR-15s against
but it'll have the
against the fighter
it will
jets.
have the characteristics of Waco, Texas. It will have characteristics of the Michigan. What was McVeigh was his name?
That's not Michigan.
And the Oklahoma bombing. It will be that level of deaths.
Right.
Trump will be assassinated during that time, and the investigations will show it was not the U.S. government that did it, in spite of what MAGA, which will become the new American version of Hamas. And the subject of the eradication is not the Jews, but it is in fact libs.
Libtards.
Libs.
Yep.
Libs.
Yeah,
that's why it's a scenario that's not out of proportion with the alarming magnitude of the things we're seeing in front of us. It's not out there. What we're seeing, what we're witnessing, what people are saying is so strong, it really logically leads to the potential of a scenario of insurrection and civil war, violent unrest.
But a very quick civil war.
Well, I would agree, but not quick enough to save thousands of lives who will be killed with whatever they do. If he can organize Iowa, I imagine he could organize a few state-level militias. Delicious militias.
Delicious militias. We finally got a title. Oof. It's good.
Right. There it is. The delicious militias of Donald Trump's.
Wait. No, they're delicious, malicious militias.
Wait. They're. What is it?
Delicious, malicious militias.
The delicious militias of Donald Trump's.
Malicious. No.
Donald Trump's.
Okay.
So later tonight, I go down to O'Duffy's Pub and listen to the fabulous Out of Favor Boys duo or trio play their saxophone and their guitars, and I get to drink Schmittix. And undoubtedly fall off my diet, which I've been on now for a week. I got my new sensor.
I wish I could tell you that I could see you, but I haven't been able to see you for a while. I'm hoping that it's just.
Oh, really? Well, you flashed in and out, but you keep coming back.
Yeah.
It's
probably still recording on your end. That's cool. If not.
When I talk, my screen is lighting up around the edges.
Yeah.
So
I'm definitely hearing you and seeing that.
Assume so.
So it's mostly an audio medium, except for our one Patreon subscriber. My father has just joined the.
You shouldn't have said that. You didn't need to go that far. I was always suspicious of him. I saw that propaganda he floated.
Yeah, well,
purportedly it was him mailing it.
He's joined at the gin martinis level at patreon.com/happyhour.
At the what level?
The gin martinis level. There's like different levels of drinks that you can buy us.
Gin martini, I see. That's good. Well, here's to him. He'll like the fact that I'm drinking scotch. You know, at some point, not now, but at some point, we got to revisit this song that Masterson drew me to.
Yes.
Because you've got to find the guitar for it.
You called it Richland.
I'm so miserable without you. It's almost like you never left. No, it's like you never left.
I wrote down the lyrics.
Well, I've got it written down too.
We fought like tigers every day. Each day's.
We fought like tigers every day. I don't know.
Each day's tides changed and stoked the fray.
Each day tides changed and stoked the fray.
I hated you, but hate me worse. Jesus.
I hated you, but hated me worse. Loving you was such a curse.
Well done.
I'm so miserable since you left. It's almost like...
No, since you're gone.
I'm so miserable since you're gone. It's almost like you never left. There's a challenge in there with the word miserable because it has so many. I toyed with the phrase, which was this: nothing but misery since you're gone.
It's not bad.
It's like you really never left. But misery, the word misery, is not what Mike said. It was miserable. And it sounds perfectly fine when you say it. The name of the song is I'm So Miserable Since You Left. Right. There's no problem in saying it, but when you try to sing it, I'm so miserable.
Miserable.
I'm so miserable.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. I'm miserable since you left. Get rid of the word so.
No.
I'm miserable. It's just bad. Nothing but misery since you're gone.
That's better. But it's not miserable.
It's almost like you never left.
Le Miserable.
Loving you is such a curse. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't know.
I have it written down.
I'm sure that's...
What's that? I wrote down what you sang one time last month.
Well, I've got some squimish that reminds me of the music. I don't write music per se, but I write a little shorthand that lets me know what I'm doing with my voice. Squirmels, little squirmish.
Are you squeamish about your squimish?
Squirmish about my little wormish.
Okay, I think
I didn't mean it. That's so unwoke. Oh, I'm in such trouble. I'm gonna be canceled.
I think we might be done here.
Well,
let
me think.
I can't wait to see the next episode of True Jody.
See if you got any time. See what you can do about this Jeremy Renner series.
All right,
it's every bit as good as anything we've ever watched.
Okay.
And did you see who beat out Pedro Pascal for The Last of Us? Who beat him out for best actor in a drama?
I saw the Succession.
The other nominees were what's his name? Strong from Succession. Jeremy Strong from Succession, and the dude who played the dad.
No, tell me.
Who was it? Huh? The dude who played the father on Succession. What's his name? Scottish.
Yeah.
Actor.
Yeah, that guy.
We're both drawing blanks on his name.
Yeah.
And Kieran Culkin was also nominated, and a couple of other Pedro Pascal. Kieran Culkin won.
Yes, I emailed that to you.
Oh, you did? You did? Where he was crying and shit. It was great.
Well, yes, but awesome.
It was great. It's really the first time I've ever heard him speak, and he seemed to me to be absolutely genuine,
like a normal human. Yeah.
No, yeah, well, yeah, that too, but not.
I haven't seen the speech, so.
Or being a smart ass or whatever.
Yes. So easy to be a smart ass.
So yeah, Brian Cox.
Yes, there you go.
Brian Cox, which the thing about Kieran Culkin in that character is that he's a great actor, but I'll tell you what, he's got the crazy role. He's got the one where the writers went nuts.
Right. It's like it's the same.
It's the character.
Yeah. It's like how you get the Oscar for playing the mentally disabled person.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking. You get it. You
feels harder.
But here's the thing. This is the way they gave it to him. He played that wonderful role perfectly.
Right.
he stepped into the shoes of a potentially iconic role and made it iconic.
Yes.
Because it could have failed miserably. A lot of those kind of caustic, weird, run-at-the-mouth characters fail. And I'll tell you, I've talked about this before, one of the best scenes with him, and frankly, a lot of them, was when they had the cheese, stole the cheese from their mother's student. They had a food fight.
Yeah.
And what was Jeremy Strong's character's name?
Kendall.
Remind me. What? Kendall. And Kendall got the cake dumped on his head because he was ordained as the next guy.
As the king or whatever.
Of course, fell apart in a minute.
Speaking of...
that series coming back. There's no way it's not coming back.
Yeah, okay.
There's some runoff is coming back. You know what Kieran Culkin said? The runoff
spin-off
should be the story of Greg. That, he said, I could get behind.
I do love a Greg spin-off, yes.
Well, Greg he's Dick Van Dyke, man. Of course, I don't know if that means anything to you. Probably doesn't.
I know who Dick Van Dyke is.
Well, I know you know who he is, but you didn't grow up with him like I did. Dick Van Dyke, lovable, funny character who just, you know, everything is humorous.
A clown, yeah.
Just love to watch him.
Speaking of actors doing amazing things, playing mentally weird people, do you recall a 1994 movie called Primal Fear?
Yes.
Starring Richard Gere and debuting Edward Norton. It was... and
I've seen it.
Laura Linney is also in it, and I rewatched it this weekend with my daughter, who is at the age that can grasp this.
Edward Norton was just a hateable character.
Well, Edward Norton, no. Well, he played. So the general plot is that a priest is murdered and the altar boy is found running away.
That's right.
Covered in blood. And Richard Gere is this like hot shot lawyer who takes this case on pro bono and totally believes this kid. And Edward Norton has this stutter.
He's a priest.
No, Edward Norton is the altar boy.
Oh, stutters.
Yeah, well, I just don't think that I could ever do anything like that, sir. And he has this beautiful stutter and this smile, this beautiful angelic smile.
And he got an award.
And he was nominated for the Oscar, but he won a Golden Globe and he won some other stuff.
Best supporting actor.
Yeah. But he just crushed it out of the gate.
It was his introduction.
That was his debut into film.
Really?
He was so young. He was like 24. He was playing a 19-year-old, but he was just so good. And
so did you see?
I remember seeing that at the time and being like, "Holy shit, this is an actor!"
Wow. Yeah. Did you see him in the Michael Keaton movie, the something of Incredible Flight? Where Keaton was the Birdman.
Birdman is the name of the movie. Yeah.
Birdman. There we go. Go figure. And the entire movie
it's all one shot.
Was one shot and one constant drum solo.
I didn't get that movie.
Oh my God.
I watched the first bit of it and I was like, this is not. I don't understand what I'm watching.
I was. And
that's one of those times. That's one of those times where a movie that I was just like, meh, like won Best Picture. Like that was the Best Picture of that year.
Oh God, it was good. Well, I can't explain it.
So I don't know. Maybe I need to like go back and give it another look. But like another case, like The English Patient. I never really understood The English Patient.
It was like English Patient was.
It won everything.
You had to really be in love with the characters. You really had to be just enamored with the thing unfolding in a very, kind of endearing story of love. And,
yeah,
it was like I fell asleep, maybe woke up, and then more. But I remember something going on in a cave that didn't make much sense. I don't know.
Exactly. And
well, listen, bro, what's
like what the hell? Yeah.
So by the time we talk,
yes,
we'll have New Hampshire will have voted in the nation's first primary.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And in this primary, imagine this, it's called an open primary.
Huh.
Which means that even though it's Republican primary, it's open to independents and Democrats. And as a result of that, it's a very diverse crowd of people.
Any old knucklehead can go
and what's that?
Any old knucklehead can go and vote. Like you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Cool.
And so it's one of the places where if you didn't know better, the Democrats would go out and vote for the weakest candidate because they know that their candidate will do better.
Uh-huh.
So if
the Democrats
so that
were
could be in play.
Smart and cunning.
Yeah, and there's actually live, even recent examples of state-level Democratic parties planning and implementing exactly that scheme. It happened in Michigan, one of the districts.
Cool.
But anyway, I digress. It ain't going to happen in New Hampshire, I would suspect. But Nikki Haley is within single digits of Trump, who only received half the vote in Iowa, even though he's running as a virtual incumbent. And so Ron DeSanctimonious, who barely limped into second place after visiting, listen to this, he visited and had connections in 100% of Iowa's 99 counties. He lived there, just like Vivek Ramaswamy, who dropped out.
It's a good thing because you can't say his name.
I don't have to anymore.
Well, until he's on Trump's ticket.
He won't be on Trump's ticket. Trump doesn't need him. Trump doesn't need him.
Yeah, it's going to be Trump Haley.
Trump's going to put a woman in there. It's going to be Christie Noem or Arizona's failed gubernatorial candidate Lake.
Trump Noem. Trump Lake sounds good.
NOEM.
Trump Lake sounds like a place you'd never want to visit.
So this could be the first time that somebody not named Trump wins a primary. If not, check this. The next one is Nevada, which Trump has got lined up. Small number of delegates. But the next big one is South Carolina, where Nikki Haley was governor, and she currently is polling 30 points lower than Trump in a state where she was the governor.
Jesus Christ.
That will kill her.
That's what I'm telling you. He's going to win.
That will kill her.
Yep.
So, that will be part of our report.
Cool.
The news.
Okay. Tune in next week when we say more things.
We fought each day like cats and dogs. That's not it. I can't remember anything. I can't remember. Hello.
Right. I will.
So I'll just leave this.
I'll see you next week.
I'll just leave this on.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, that's it for episode number 203. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/203 with links to the God Made a Dictator video and the speech from Kieran Culkin, which kind of made me cry. It was very beautiful. And you can support the show at patreon.com/happyhour, and we would love it if you would do that. See you next week.